Oh, we're on the job again. The plumber came here and had to cut open a hole in here. Looks like to access their shower, redo their piping. The plumber did his job. He inspected it, so it's good to go. Good thing here, he cut out this area nice and square, so we left the cutout piece. If these pieces are not wet, you can reuse them to put them back. Sometimes it's easier to reuse them. But on this, of course, there's only a stud here in the center. So we're going to have to put a stud on the left and the right. These pipes are kind of tight, so you want to mark these pipes. You don't want to put a screw where this black pipe is. So sometimes you mark it with a pencil. Do not put a screw there. But we're going to tighten up the old studs. We're going to put some backing there, reuse the patch, re-secure it, tape coat, and then we're going to do a spray knockdown texture. It's not the best looking texture, but we're just going to spray that area. But first things first, going to have to put some masking on the baseboard, mask up the area, basically to contain our overspray from the texture. The texture goes everywhere. So we want to plastic it off, contain our mess, and get everything ready. Get some wood backing, 2x4s, 1x2s, anything works. Wood sheeting, some guys like to use those drywall clips, metal clips, which I don't like to use, but some guys swear they're the best. But I'm just going to use some 1x3s that I have on hand. Just something to screw to. You need something to screw the sheetrock to. Everybody thinks that's okay, but then this side's loose, that side's loose, and then you can get a crack there. So we always add backing on each side, or at least on the top, bottom, or the sides. Ideal world, top, bottom, each side, something to screw to on 4 sides, but a patch this small, 24 inches, all we need something on each side, and that's good. So we're going to have something to screw to here, something to screw to there, something to screw to there, so it'll be a nice and tight patch. But first things first here, let's get some masking down, get this area contained, get some wood backing, get all of our supplies needed in here. We need a screw gun, drywall screws, masking tape, plastic, fiberglass mesh tape. Just get everything sheetrocked, hung, ready for mud. That's our first step process. Get it ready for mudding. For masking, I just like to use an 1.5" basic masking tape. Nothing special. Everybody loves to use blue tape. Blue tapes I just use on finished wood cabinets because it's expensive. So I just use a regular tape. Baseboard's dusty, of course, swipe away the dust. Tight area like this, so masking is always fun. Masking the wall just so it gets texture on the wall. This is a masking machine, of course you're not going to have this. You could just put plastic on the wall. You don't want to get texture on walls that you don't plan on painting. If you get texture on this wall, you're going to have to sand, primer, and paint. So only expose the areas that you're going to actually texture and mud, so you don't have to paint other walls. Alright, wood backing there. Here, this one's kind of tight. 1.25" screws for 1/2" sheetrock. I like to mark the stud here with a screw. marked and secured. Wood backing, hold it in place. I usually get 2 screws in it to hold it in place. Top, bottom. Let's do one in the middle. Now you have something to screw to. Strong. Just add one to the left side. This one's kind of goofy area here, so I'm going to have to get it around the pipe. I actually have to do a cheater screw. This is a cheater screw to have hold on the stud. So I'm going to use a longer screw if you got it. Just going to put this here. All that is just to hold it. And then the trouble areas like this. Get it in here. Able to get wood in here, you're going to have to cut this patch back further to the next stud, and you don't want to have to do that if possible. I'm holding it, got something to nail the screw to real tight. Get a couple screws in it. Let's add one more. Let's pull out our backing screw. Remember, there's a pipe here and a pipe here, so you can even mark it with a pencil. Take your pencil, and you're not going to put screws here, but just in case. Plumbers shouldn't have pipes this close to the drywall. They have the hole inside of the wall, but they want to put their pipes right against the drywall. I don't understand that. That's just peace of mind, so I know I don't put a screw, even though I know I'm not going to be screwing there, just to remind myself there's a thing there. Or you can even take a picture of it with your phone so you remember that there's pipes there. But a good plumbing job, pipes and everything should be away from the wall. Center of the wall is usually what I see most. Like this one's good because it's back there. This one's up against the wall. It is what it is. Since they kept this original piece, we're going to reuse it. It's not damaged, not water damage. Just double check it here. There's a nail pop in the back. And then we're just going to re-secure it. If it fits nice, then we're going to secure it. I'm going to use original stud. Most guys don't like to use the original holes. It looks like they backed out holes, but I'm going to put screws in those holes just to fill in the holes with something. Plenty of screws, every 2 to 4 inches. The main stud's secure. Now I'm going to hit my backers that I added. Remember I added the backers? Now it's nice and tight. Every 2 to 4 inches. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Left side. Every 2 to 4 inches. Nice and tight. Let's do one more. Alright. Everything's strong, secure. Remember that pipe was right here. Now we got it hung, it's all secure. Sometimes I like to push on it, make sure that it's not loose. Like right here, it's kind of loose on the top, so I'm going to add one more. Why not? Screws are cheap. Crack outs are not cheap. I'm done with my screws, my screw gun. I'm going to go charge up my battery, put my tools away. I don't need the pencil. Let's put all this stuff away. I don't want to be tripping on it in this little room. Next step, 6-inch knife. You can also take a piece of this with your 6-inch knife if you didn't do it beforehand. Paint sample. Keep a little piece just in case. You need a paint sample, piece like that, size of your palm, is good enough to take it to a paint matching store. So always keep a piece that paint match. Notice I didn't take all the drywall off. I just took the thing off. Just the face of it, the texture. I'm going to scrape all this before we tape it. I'm going to scrape out past the area where there's rough texture, so when I mud on it, I don't get chatters and goobers. Fiberglass mesh tape. Everybody loves it or hates it. I love it because I use it correctly. Right now there's a sticky back to it. It sticks, but it's not very good. So sometimes I'll stick it and then it won't stay. So I use a spray glue, which is an optional product, or I can just go and mix a little bit of mud and kind of pre-fill it and then put the tape in the mud that I put. But I'm just going to use a little of this tack spray. This is a trade secret. Doesn't need much. Corner bead drywall adhesive. It's just a tack spray for this fiberglass. Some fiberglasses actually have real good stickiness. This type doesn't. Look, it doesn't like to stick to old walls. It likes to stick to new sheetrock. That just holds it in place. I don't want to put all this tape on it and then go get my mud and I come back and the tape fell off the patch and I have to put my pan and knives down, put my mud tools down, and then put the tape back on the wall and grab my pan and knife and hope it stays. So that's why I just use this tack spray. It doesn't do nothing except keeps the tape tacked on the wall. Tape it really good, all the gaps, everything taped. If you had any gaps in here, you'd probably pre-fill it first before you do a tape, but this is a nice tight pack. Push down with your 6. Fiberglass mesh. There's also fiber fuse tape, stuff like this. With the fiberglass, you can put the fiberglass on and coat right away. Paper tapes, fiber fuses, you have to put mud down first. Put the tape down, wipe out the mud, let the mud set up, then coat it. So it takes longer to use fiber fuses and stuff like that. So that's why I use fiberglass mesh tape. It don't crack if you use the correct stuff. So I'm done with this, done with that. I'm going to put all my hanging tools away. Everything's ready for mud. So now I'm going to mud it. I'm going to do a first coat over this. I'm going to use a 5-minute quick set mud that I mix up a little bit in a pan, coat it all out, let it set up, slick it out, and then turn around and second coat it. If you've never done drywall mudding before, just stick to an all-purpose joint compound. All-purpose joint compounds have to dry overnight. Then you sand it, second coat it, sand it, third coat, then texture. But let's get this all first coated, get all of our hanging tools put away, get them out of here, and then concentrate on the mudding.